Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Oh, well, that's been a bit of an audio issue there, but nice little fade in for us. We're back in just a moment once we've sorted out what that issue was. Apologies there. And what a way to start the season. But we are back now with the correct screen loaded up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our stream for this evening. And we might have a slightly more succinct version of the stream for this evening. I do apologise for that. It is round 1 of the Halfords Formula Alpha Championship 2023. And we are in qualifying at the moment. As you can see, we have timings up at the moment. Just under 10 minutes to go in the session. Will Inglis leading. He is, of course, hoping to bring another challenge for the championship this season. We have Alex Smith in P2, Jack Hodson P3, Paul Brady P4, Guy Torbrick P5, Paul Millman P6, Alan Thomas, newcomer of course, P7, Rob Whitney in P9, Steve Knight in P8. So we've had a little issue trying to get the and I think I might be doubling up on the audio there, so I do apologise if that is the case. I should be a little bit more audible now, but yes, we have had a small issue getting the entry for the commentary car in this time round, so I do apologise for that one. We're currently waiting to see if that is going to mend itself for race 1. Hopefully it will, because I'm certainly looking forward to a race here at Nurgurgring. Don't be too disappointed though if we do miss out on some of the racing action here at the Nurgurgring GP circuit, because in just a week's time we'll be going for round 2 of the touring car action at this very same circuit. But we'd like to see the single-seater action underway once again, as we have Will Inglis still setting the purple sectors at the moment in qualifying. A 1 minute 38.2 means he is leading by about 0.3 of a second at the moment. He's doing a very good job out there on those slick tyres. Of course, we did have a small weather experiment just a few days ago over the weekend to see if that was something that we're going to carry on, but maybe bring it into the season in the future. As we have Alan Thomas there, has had a bit of an issue, I believe, at the final corner, or one of the penultimate corner rather, on the exit of the chicane for the what is effectively the back straight there. Of course, we're going to get a couple of issues here and there. He is, of course, a newcomer to the world of the ARL, but also sim racing in general. So welcome, Alan. Hope you enjoy yourself. Alan is, of course, our modified registrar for the Owners Club, and you'll know him well if you are a part of the Mito community. I, of course, actually owe a small little bit of trivia for it. I owe my current ownership of my Mito quadrifolio to Alan, because it was right after my former Mito had kicked the bucket effectively. I was sat at the pub one day with a couple of mates, and I get a message off Alan Thomas saying, you need to go and buy this car right now, a lovely Starbelt equipped 2012 manual QV, and I did just that. So thank you, Alan, for that financial misery. But so hopefully Alan settles into the sim racing action well here. Currently running in P7, by no means an easy feat when it's your first time round. We've got 5 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Hopefully we'll be able to get underway for race 1 in just a moment's time, but we'll give you a very quick update on what is going on in qualifying. I can tell you there seems to be a little bit of variation in terms of setup for this evening's racing. Some drivers not quite confident. This is, of course, not a circuit we visited in these cars just yet. Some drivers not quite confident in how to approach the setup. This is, of course, an open setup championship. Drivers are free to choose, chop and change the setup to suit their best needs. But we see that we have the likes of Andrew Whitehead. Oh, I'm going to presume now. It was just called Andrew on the timing system here, but also we have the likes of Will Inglis running a low aero setup, where that seems to be working well for him. He's currently got a top speed of 281 kilometres an hour through the speed trap, and is, of course, on provisional pole in this session, with Jack Hodson actually currently in the low 138. But we've seen some good progression from Jack Hodson over the past couple of seasons, and I think we're really starting to see that so far in this, our second season of running the Formula. In fact, no, our third season of running the. Oh my God, I'm getting old. But Either way, we have the likes of Paul Brady running a higher downforce setup. That seems to be treating him fairly well. He's currently running in P4, despite the huge difference in setup to the cars around him. So, the open setup, as ever, providing great competition between the drivers. As you can see there, this is actually a bit of an insight into what I usually get to see as we are enjoying the racing. You see the crash, the crash notifications popping up in the bottom right hand of the timing screen there. Owing to a couple of issues I think a couple of drivers have had there, but we're underway once again. And of course, if you do want to have a look at this webpage yourself, you can jump on at https or probably don't, but it's 2023. We can ignore that now. AROC2.emperorservers.com/live-timing. So that link that you can see in the bottom of the screen, if you follow that, you'll be able to jump on this timing system for yourself and have a quick look, not only at how this session's timing is going, but also a wider look at the championship as well. It's a very useful webpage indeed. We've got just around 3 minutes to go now in this qualifying session. It's still Will Inglis who leads Jack Hodson in P2, Alex Smith in P3 rather, with not too far behind at all Paul Brady as well in P4. There's a very close fight going on at the front end of the field. Only 0.4 of a second, in fact make that 0.3 of a second, separating 4 cars already in round 1 of this year's running. Elsewhere, in terms of AM runners, Guy Swarbrick is leading the AM charge. Correct me, I'm completely wrong there. It is Jack Hodson who is leading the AM charge at the moment in P2, which is a stunning effort. And then we have Guy Swarbrick in P5 and then Steve Knight in P8. So good spread throughout the field. We should be on for some fantastic competition in this year's running. And we now have just under 1 minute left on the timer for this session. So these drivers will be getting ready for their final few laps now. We can see Will Inglis actually building his gap to the rest of the field ever so slightly. Still in the 138, but it's 138.1 that was set on the previous lap. You can see there he is still going on in this qualifying push. At the moment he's running this stint rather nicely, and we might see another improvement from him just yet. Let's watch as he comes through the first sector in just a moment. It is a purple sector. It's a 30.4. That is a blistering time, only rivaled by the likes of Alex Smith, I would say, is his closest competition at the moment. We watch him now as he gets ready to head up towards the second timing marker on the track. This is a very impressive effort from him. So if I was going to give mention, actually, so some of the drivers are really putting in a qualifying effort here. As you see, likes of Guy Swarbrick, Paul Millman, and Alex Smith with 11 laps to their name. That is very impressive indeed, given that it's a relatively long lap here at the Nurgurgring GP. And Steve Knight and Guy Swarbrick have come together. That's not what you want at this stage in qualifying. You never want that in qualifying at any point, really, to be coming together, but because it can really affect your progression. But it certainly hasn't affected Will Inglis's progression there, as it's another purple sector sector this late on in qualifying. This could be the lap to blow all of the others out of the water. 33.0 through the second sector. Only one more major corner to negotiate. You have to play your cards right heading through that final corner. Don't go too fast and wash out wide here through the final bend for the run down to the start-finish straight once again. But Will Inglis seems to be very much under control as it gets back onto the throttle for one final sector. And it is, unfortunately, not an improvement for Will Inglis. It all fell apart there at the final sector. It's a 138.16 compared to his... no, sorry, it's a 138.19 compared to his previous, which is 138.16. We now only have Alex Smith to cross the line. And he will not make it in time, I do not believe. He stays where he is, and then we maybe might see another lap from Jack Hodson, in fact. Let's find out if this will be classified as a proper lap, as Alan Thomas and Alex Smith abandoned their lap. It is only Jack Hodson out on track at the moment. I think he can already pat himself on the back for what has been a phenomenal effort here in qualifying. Leading the AM charge from P2 on the grid, it means he by far and away takes the AM pole, and he retires to the pits as well. So that is it for a slightly alternate look at this qualifying session here for the Nurgurgring GP round. We'll join you in just a few minutes, hopefully, with some good news. And unfortunately, we are unable to join this session, which means for us here watching the stream, the journey has come to its end. But do make sure to check out the live timings if you want to have a look at how the race is progressing. And of course, we'll give you an update on how race 1 went in the upcoming stream. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in a week's time for the touring car action. It's the very same circuit, so don't feel like you're missing out on too much Nurgurgring action. And in a fortnight's time for round 2 of the Halfords Formula Alpha Championship 2023.